The hidden IRS opportunities. Most retirees never hear about. What if one of the biggest retirement mistakes isn't paying too much tax, but simply not knowing what the IRS actually allows you to do? Most retirees believe that once they reach age 71, their financial options begin to shrink. After all, this is the stage of life when many people hear more about withdrawal requirements, tax obligations, and government rules than they do about opportunities. The common assumption is simple. The older you get, the fewer choices you have. But the surprising reality is often the exact opposite. In fact, there are several IRS-approved opportunities that become available or become far more valuable after age 71. Yet many retirees never hear about them. Others hear about them years later, only to realize they could have saved money, reduced taxes, or made better financial decisions if they had known sooner. And that's where the real problem begins. Most retirement conversations focus almost entirely on what retirees owe, how much tax you'll pay, when you must take withdrawals, what penalties you might face, what rules you need to follow. What rarely gets discussed are the benefits, exceptions, planning opportunities, and little-known provisions that may work in a retiree's favor. The result? Millions of Americans enter retirement believing they have no control, when in reality they may have more options than they realize. Consider two retirees with nearly identical savings accounts, similar Social Security benefits, and comparable lifestyles. One understands a handful of IRS rules and uses them strategically. The other never learns those rules exist. 10 years later, their financial outcomes could look very different. Not because one earned more money, not because one took bigger risks, but simply because one understood opportunities the other never knew existed. And that's what makes today's topic so important. The financial impact of retirement isn't always determined by how much you've saved. Sometimes it's determined by how much you know. Many retirees spend decades building retirement accounts, protecting investments, and planning for the future. Yet surprisingly few spend time learning about some of the IRS provisions specifically designed for people in their later retirement years. Even more surprising, many people discover these opportunities only after they've missed the chance to use them effectively. That's why, in today's video, we're going to walk through 7 things the IRS allows after age 71 or 2 that many retirees never take advantage of. Some may help support causes you care about while potentially improving tax efficiency. Others may affect how retirement income is managed, and one of them could change the way you think about retirement planning altogether. The overlooked detail is that retirement isn't just about following rules, it's about understanding them, because sometimes the most expensive retirement mistake isn't making the wrong decision. It's never realizing you had a choice in the first place. So if these opportunities exist, why do so many retirees never use them? The answer starts with a major misunderstanding about retirement tax rules. Why so many retirees miss these opportunities? If these opportunities exist, a natural question follows. Why do so many retirees never take advantage of them? The answer is surprisingly simple. Most people spend decades hearing about IRS rules as restrictions rather than opportunities. From the time Americans begin saving for retirement, the conversation is usually focused on limits, penalties, deadlines, and taxes. Financial headlines often warn about mistakes, unexpected tax bills, and changing regulations. Over time, many retirees develop the belief that every IRS rule exists solely to take something away. And that's understandable. After all, when most people think about retirement taxes, they immediately think about required minimum distributions, Social Security taxation, Medicare premiums, and the possibility of paying more taxes than expected. Very few people think about opportunities. That's where one of the biggest misunderstandings in retirement planning begins. Many retirees assume that reaching age 71 or 2 means financial flexibility starts disappearing. The common belief is that retirement becomes a series of mandatory decisions dictated by government rules. But the reality is often much different. While certain responsibilities do increase with age, some planning opportunities actually become available because retirees reach this stage of life. In other words, age doesn't always reduce your options. Sometimes it creates new ones. The challenge is that many retirees never hear about them. Instead, they become focused almost entirely on managing monthly income. They watch their Social Security deposits, review Medicare expenses, monitor investment balances, and make required withdrawals when necessary. All of those things are important. But focusing only on the obvious financial decisions can cause people to overlook valuable opportunities hidden within tax regulations. And those overlooked details can become surprisingly expensive over time. Imagine 2 retirees who both follow every required IRS rule. Neither makes a major mistake, neither receives penalties, neither breaks any regulations. Yet one of them understands available opportunities, while the other simply follows instructions. Years later, the difference may show up in taxes paid, retirement account balances, charitable giving efficiency, or even the amount of wealth ultimately passed to family members. The difference isn't intelligence. The difference is awareness. That's an important distinction because retirement planning is not about trying to outsmart the IRS. Many people make the mistake of viewing tax planning as a search for loopholes. In reality, successful retirement planning often comes from understanding the rules exactly as they were designed. The retirees who benefit most are often not the ones looking for shortcuts. They're the ones who take the time to learn what options are available and how those options fit into their personal situation. That's why assumptions can be so costly. When people assume they already know the rules, they stop asking questions. And when they stop asking questions, they often miss opportunities that were available all along. The surprising reality is that some of the most valuable retirement planning strategies aren't hidden because they're complicated. They're hidden because nobody talks about them. And the first opportunity we're about to discuss is a perfect example. In fact, many charitable retirees look back and wish they had learned about it years earlier. The real cost of not knowing. As we wrap up today's discussion, it's worth stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. Throughout this video, we've explored 7 opportunities that many retirees either overlook completely or discover much later than they should. And while each strategy may be different, they all point to the same important lesson. The IRS doesn't just create obligations, it also creates opportunities. Unfortunately, most retirees spend years focusing almost exclusively on one side of that equation. They pay attention to tax deadlines. They worry about required withdrawals. They watch Medicare premiums. They monitor Social Security benefits. And those concerns are completely understandable. After all, retirement is often about protecting the income you've worked decades to build. But what many people never realize is that understanding what the rules allow can be just as important as understanding what the rules require. That's where the hidden cost begins. Not the cost of making a bad decision. The cost of never realizing a better option existed. Think about it this way. If a retiree misses a small tax-saving opportunity worth only a few $100s per year, it may not seem like a major issue, but retirement isn't measured in months. It's measured in years, often decades. A tax improvement of a few $100s per year repeated over 10, 15, or 20 years can add up to thousands of dollars that remain available for travel, healthcare expenses, family support, charitable giving, or simply providing greater financial confidence. That's why awareness matters. The financial impact of retirement is rarely determined by a single dramatic decision. More often, it's shaped by dozens of smaller decisions made over time. Some choices improve flexibility. Some reduce unnecessary taxes. Some help preserve assets for future generations. And some simply help retirees feel more in control of their financial future. The surprising reality is that many retirees spend years searching for investment solutions while overlooking planning opportunities that may already exist within the rules. That's not because they're careless. It's because retirement planning can be overwhelming. There are tax rules, Social Security decisions, Medicare considerations, estate planning concerns, investment choices, required distributions, beneficiary designations, and countless other financial details competing for attention. As a result, many people naturally focus on the most visible issues and assume they've covered everything important. But assumptions can be expensive. Many retirees discover this too late. They look back and realize there were opportunities they could have explored years earlier. Not guaranteed solutions, not magic strategies, simply options. Options that may have provided greater flexibility, improved tax efficiency, or helped them make more informed decisions. And that's why continuing to learn matters. The goal isn't to become a tax expert. The goal isn't to spend every day studying IRS regulations. The goal is simply to remain curious enough to ask questions before important financial decisions are made. Because retirement planning isn't a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. The rules change. Personal circumstances change. Financial goals change. And opportunities that didn't matter 5 years ago may become highly relevant today. That's particularly true as retirees move through different stages of retirement. What works at age 62 may not be ideal at age 72. What makes sense at age 72 may not be the best approach at age 82. The most successful retirement plans are often the ones that evolve over time. And that evolution starts with awareness. If there's one takeaway from today's video, let it be this. The retirees who protect their wealth most effectively are often not the ones with the largest portfolios. They are the ones who understand the rules before important decisions are made. Knowledge doesn't guarantee perfect outcomes, but it often creates better choices. And better choices, repeated consistently over many years, can have a meaningful impact on retirement security. So before assuming every opportunity has already been explored, take time to review your situation, ask questions, stay informed, revisit decisions periodically, and remember that some of the most valuable retirement opportunities are the ones people never realized they had. Thank you for watching. If you found this information helpful, let us know in the comments which of these IRS opportunities surprised you the most. And if you'd like to continue learning about retirement taxes, Social Security, Medicare, IRA rules, and strategies that can help protect your retirement income, be sure to subscribe and join us for future discussions. Because when it comes to retirement planning, what you don't know can be costly, but what you learn today may help protect your future for years to come.